Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest and your favorite segment here on Sunday. I'm back. My name is Maria Gurley Pascual. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have our segment hosts who are back with their special issues around town. We have co-anchor Bridget Carino-Quetter, who's been helping us here at the TV studio, along with our executive producer, Miss Veronica Layton, who is also back interviewing significant people in the community. Miss Melody Dizon is back in Health Matters, along with our very loyal staff, especially Director Jechi, who has always been behind the camera, editing and doing whatever it needs to put this show on the air every week. And along with her, we have our tech director, Mr. James DC, who is actually filming this segment of mine. So thank you, James DC. We have our special sponsors, and the show is coming up soon. So we'll be back after word from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
Get ready for the ultimate in fresh produce, barbecue, seafood, sushi, and more. Meals made easy. Kimchi with wow. Our dishes make you a star. H-Mart.
Introduction to the Philosophy of a Human Person. This is the title of a senior high school module which has gone viral on social media. Not because of its lessons, but because of some questions on the module, like which among the headlines do not have errors on spelling, grammar, and content. Choices include A. Robredo chides government for unclear communication on new quarantine rules, and B. Robredo blames the government as they don't have clear rules in quarantine. In another question, students are being asked to choose which statement does not have substantial generalizations. Among the choices are A. Drug war a massive failure, Robredo, and B. Robredo lies to world, shames the nation and herself in UN message. In the item which among the publishers do not have a particular agenda or bias, one of the choices states that ABS-CBN is blind to the truth, while another says it is right for ABS-CBN not to open anymore. Philosophers Socrates and George Hegel were also mentioned in the module, while former UP Chancellor Dr. Michael Lim Tan and Queen Elizabeth II were used as examples in activities. The said module is uploaded on the website shs.module.online. This drew different reactions from netizens. Most were dismayed as they believe this is not the right way to teach good values to students. The Alliance of Concerned Teachers also expresses concern that instructional materials are being used to endorse or destroy a candidate's character.
Hindi lang naman yan sa ating Vice President, as mentioned also, including sa mga media outreach. Para sa atin dapat yung edukasyon, yung ating mga paaralan ay magsilbing daan upang makapag-produce ng critical thinking sa mga kabataang Pilipino, at at the same time ay magamit ito upang magpuro ng wasto at maayos na paningin hinggil sa ating lipunan.
ACT is checking if teachers have used the said module as it appealed to DepEd for accountability. Meanwhile, presidential candidate and Vice President Leni Robredo said she has seen the module and is awaiting for DepEd's comment.
Hintayin ko yung DepEd to comment, pero responsibility nila to eh. Yung DepEd dapat hindi nagpapalabas ng anything, not just because ako yung nasa receiving end ng ginawa, pero kahit ano na magpo-poison sa minds ng mga tao, dapat hindi yun pinapalusot ng DepEd. Kasi pagpapakita, kung totoo na nakalusot ito sa grade 11 na mga modules, gustong sabihin talaga napaka-inefficient ng DepEd.
In a statement, DepEd said the module is from the Schools Division Office of Manila. It adds, based on the Manila Division Office, the learning material was locally produced in September 2020 for school year 2020-2021, supposedly at the time when fully reviewed self-learning materials from the central office were not yet available. Due to complaints, school heads have been instructed to retrieve the hard copies, while digital copies have been removed from the Learning Resource Management online portal. The writer for the module has been identified, but the division claims the writer passed away in 2020. This claim could not be verified by ABS-CBN News. The division office apologized for any harm that the incident may have caused individuals or groups and vowed to strictly abide by the quality control and review process for modules. DepEd also assured the public as well as candidates in the elections that they are exerting all efforts to warn officials, teachers, and personnel against participating in partisan politics.
Philippine Health Secretary Francisco Duque III backs a proposal to require proof of booster vaccination against COVID-19 in establishments and public transport. This amid a low booster uptake in the country and the threat of a more infectious Omicron subvariant.
And we also need to analyze and assess, no? Ano ba yung characteristic nung sinasabi nitong XE na variant? Ang sinasabi po ngayon ng WHO, yung growth factor nitong XE is about 10%, no, compared to the BA.2, which is currently circulating in the Philippines. So if that is the case, makikita natin na sinasabi niya mas magiging transmissible siya kumpara sa BA.2.
It can be recalled that previous variants of concern have been present in the country even before they were officially confirmed through sequencing. This is why experts continue to advise the public to get booster shots to maintain a high level of protection against the disease.
Dalawang doses ay hindi enough. Nakita na yon sa mga observasyon, no, sa mga scientific publications na after the 2 doses, bumababa talaga yung immunity. Tapos nga, dagdagan mo pa yung variants na nag-escape ng immunity na yon.
The World Health Organization warns it is possible for the country to experience another surge in COVID-19 cases in the coming months due to an increase in mass gatherings. It adds local governments need to deploy outreach vaccinators instead of waiting for people to come to health facilities. A former advisor to the Philippine government's COVID task force urges the health department to consider a full approval of mRNA COVID vaccines to encourage Filipinos to get their booster shots. Pfizer's and Moderna's COVID vaccines only have emergency use authorization in the Philippines.
Because on August 23, hindi na EUA ang Pfizer and Moderna sa Amerika. So if that will be adopted here in the country, since there would be a lot of people that will be taking mRNA vaccine, that will actually help distribute ang mga bakuna in drugstore chain all over the country. So that will actually hasten the, it will actually add credibility and trust.
Health experts add current restrictions should remain in place.
I don't think it's a good time to de-escalate right now kasi alam naman natin magkakaroon ng increase in risk-taking behavior, mas close quarters yung mga tao. Maybe after Holy Week, maybe after elections, I mean, these things kailangan natin tinitingnan lagi kasi meron talagang posibilidad na mag-spike kung bumababa yung minimum health standards.
Amphibious landing exercises at the Philippines' northernmost coast, live fire training on the plains and mountains of Luzon, and air assault drills testing the Philippine military's newly procured aircraft. U.S. and Philippine military officials say these and other joint exercises over the past 12 days involving nearly 9,000 service members and nearly 70 air, sea, and amphibious craft had achieved their objective of strengthening the security ties of both countries, sharing tactics from each other, and ensuring their readiness to respond to crises, more so during a global health crisis.
Although there were limitations brought about by the pandemic, it's highly commendable that exercise pushed through and generated a favorable outcome.
And while the 2022 Balikatan exercises commenced against the backdrop of continued Chinese incursion into Philippine waters, with many drills taking place in the northern Philippines, just over 600 kilometers south of China and Taiwan, those heading the drills still assert these exercises have nothing to do with the disputes in the South China Sea. The Philippines top general adding they have not tracked any incidents of Chinese surveillance or other activities throughout the duration of the Balikatan. This after Philippine Defense Chief Delfin Lorenzana revealed that a passing Chinese ship shadowed an earlier joint U.S.-Philippine naval exercise in the Sulu Sea back in late January.
There have been no monitored activities whatsoever. This is in no way intended to any of our neighboring countries. It is meant to just improve our capabilities to use our newly procured equipment. And for the last 2 weeks, we have this chance and opportunity to test them together with our American counterparts.
Among the firsts in this year's Balikatan, the amphibious deployment of a Patriot missile system outside the U.S. But military officials were quick to clarify the use here of the anti-missile system, which was not launched during the simulated assault, was not related to their use in Ukraine against Russia.
This had nothing to do with current events. We were working on doctrine, capabilities, and capacity that our joint force needs currently and then going forward in a way to deter aggression. But this was long planned a year ago before any sort of conflagration happened in the Ukraine with Russia.
When you always exercise, you're able to really feel how things are happening so that when the real war erupts, then we can be able to execute these plans effectively.
8 countries, mostly from Asia, came to observe this year's drills. A contingent from Australia's Defence Force also participated. The exercises also serve as a training ground for 2 elite teams from the Philippine Army and U.S. Marine Corps. 4 schools in Cagayan and Isabela were also renovated as part of community engagement and humanitarian assistance. But with the flag now furled for the so-called largest iteration of Balikatan, the Philippine and U.S. militaries say other trainings and exercises have been set for the rest of 2022, all with the goal of also building personal camaraderie among soldiers of both countries that stretch beyond their nation's ties.
This is the future. Forget what you know about currency, commerce, investment. The age of Bitcoin is upon us. And now anyone, anywhere can turn cash into crypto with a coin flip ATM. Booyah.
With low fees and 24/7 support, CoinFlip makes crypto so flippin' easy. Go to coinflip.tech to find an ATM near you.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to the Veronica segment of the show. Today, I have another very exciting guest whose face is really getting very familiar in our Chicago community of these Filipino Americans. And help me welcome Mr. Eric Magondayao. Eric is the founder and host of One Radio. And I interviewed him before a few months back, and he talked about the One Radio. He can discuss about One Radio again, but I invited Eric in this show today to talk about his premier project. He has a very exciting upcoming project that he wants to talk to us about this beautiful project, so exciting and so wonderful. Help me welcome Eric Magbunbayaw. Hi, Eric. Welcome.
Hi, Tita. Thanks for having the show.
You look good.
Oh, thank you.
On this Saturday morning.
Right. Thank you, po.
The One Radio, which
Yes,
you
po.
founded and been hosting, is going to have a premiere show. And this premiere show is something that our community has been looking forward to. Please tell us about this exciting show.
Thank you so much, Tita V. That actually is Nina Gerardo, coming to Chicago. Nina live in Chicago with special guest Luke Mijares. And this will be on May 7 at the Doubletree Hotel. We have been waiting for something like this. Tama ka, Tita V. It is the very first major production of One Radio that will feature a main artist, a major celebrity in the Philippines. And we are just as excited as everyone else. And let me show you a little bit of the poster there. I prepared it on the side.
And our viewing audience can also expect to see that in this upcoming issue of Via Times, the April issue.
Thank you for your support, Tita V. I appreciate it.
And so tell us about Nina. What can we expect about Nina when she comes to show?
The project actually landed to me in a very surprising way. It is One Radio's 5th year anniversary this year, and we are just glad that we're celebrating it with a major production. Nina is the very first female OPM singer to have received a diamond record label. She's the first female that also parang changed the live audience, Tita V, because her hit Nina Live actually is the Diamond Award recipient. And parang nag-live performance lang siya, Tita. And it has garnered a lot of praises and a lot of power for her, I mean. And dun mula yung pagsika talaga niya. So there's a lot to expect when it comes to Nina alone. Nina for sure will give a different taste of concert experience for Chicago. And she'll be backed up by One Radio's band, One Radio section. We're actually as excited. This will be their very first time appearing on the public as One Radio Sessions band, as a group. And makakasama rin po namin yung Blackbird of Asia, si Luke Mijares, who's a former South Border front. So talagang there's a lot, Tita, to be very thankful for, and there's a lot to look out for. And you're going to be in front seat for that, Tita. You're going to experience it fully.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us.
Of course.
So, okay, these talents that are coming to Chicago, are they coming directly from the Philippines?
Yes, they are. Chicago is going to be the first leg of the U.S. tour. It's Nina's Love Moves U.S. tour. So Love Moves in Mysterious Ways, I can say, is one of her most popular songs. And so they named their U.S. tour as the Love Moves U.S. Tour 2022. Chicago po is the first. And then they will go to...
First stop. Huh? And what other cities are they going to?
I know they're going to Virginia, New Jersey, LA, Texas, in Houston, and San Antonio. They're going to Cedar Rapids. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Tita, the One Radio Session band, that's the band of One Radio, is also playing there. So we were also invited to play for her. So we're doing Chicago show, and we're going to Cedar Rapids, Iowa to perform for her as well.
Wow. Sounds very exciting.
We're very excited for that.
Right. And this will be on May 7?
May 7. That's right.
Very, very soon, in about 3 weeks, right?
Right.
To our viewing audience, narinig po ninyo yung boses ng very great voice, fantastic and deep voice ni Mr. Eric Magundaya. Bagay na bagay talaga siya sa radio.
Thank you, Tita.
How is One Radio doing so far, Eric, after 1 year of existence?
Oh, actually, 5 years, Tita.
5 years. I mean,
We're
5
celebrating 5th year this year. We usually regularly host shows every week. During the pandemic, Tita, that kind of has changed because the DJs, we were all locked down and wala pa tayo masyadong Zoom noon. So medyo hindi naging ganun ka-consistent yung mga live programs natin. We're just in the process of about coming back as we speak. So far, the only thing that's very consistent here at One Radio now is the One Radio sessions. The band plays every month for the Chicago community and for all of the US community as well. And hopefully all of the shows are coming back, Tita, because we have to promote Nina. Well, as she comes back and comes in, in Chicago.
Eric, after Nina, are you really planning to have more projects like that one?
Wow, that's a very good question, Tita. I mean, when we were given the opportunity to produce one major show, we're taking one step at a time. We don't know as of yet, although there's a couple of promoters who have reached out to me about different shows after they saw that we're producing Nina. But so far, my commitment is with Tito Jerry, Direct Jerry Rebello of Jervin Productions. So far, he has some shows lined up, and I want to make sure I'm there to support him. But if there's another opportunity that knocks Tita, it works for the schedule, hindi sagasas the shows. That's something that we should definitely look into, because Tito Jerry shows sometimes are a little different from my show. So we want to give them different tastes of performances for the Filipino community.
That's why our community is really getting more exciting. With
I'm so glad. And
right.
Thank you so much for playing a big role for Thank you so much for helping us.
Please tell us what is it in a radio broadcast that you're doing that you find it quite exciting, or maybe you can give our viewing audience some tips on how to do it if they're interested in having a show like that.
That's kind of the usual questions, but I always don't know how to answer. I think medyo innate Tita in radio host because I was a radio DJ when I was in the Philippines. So it is part of my personality that I can, ignore. It's actually the bigger part of my personality that I want to retain instead of, a 9-to-5 job. But of course, we all can't afford not having, a bread and butter. But I enjoy doing the radio program a lot because I get to bring the music of the Philippines po sa ating mga, audience, most especially here in the US. They're not so familiar with some of the songs, with the newer songs or the older songs. So parang yung Pinoy music lang po talaga yung pinopromote ng One Radio. We want to make sure that they understand that our culture is very much alive. The Pinoy music is very much alive. And sometimes, Tita, although they would have YouTube or Spotify, hindi nila alam kung ano yung papatugtugin nila because they don't know the song exists. So that's where we come in and play the role of introducing these songs. And we're glad the artists are all coming through.
Okay. Speaking of Filipino songs, you written Filipino songs. Are they mostly in our sung in our vernacular, or merong mga Anglicizing in there?
Meron po, actually, meron.
Modern ones.
May Taglish nga, Tita, some, mostly are vernacular because that's really what we want to promote as well, di ba? Naririnig natin yung Filipino language, Tagalog.
Yes.
And even Bisaya. radio show. Pero yung mga newer generation TV, ang kinakanta nila English na kasama mga Tagalog songs. So it's really a good mix of multiple language. Pero Pinoy na Pinoy po. Pinoy na Pinoy.
Okay, that's really very nice mostly for those people who are feeling nostalgic, right?
That's
Who
right.
Here in this country, and okay, Eric, tell them how to tune in to your show.
Thank you so much. There are two ways of watching One Radio programs right now. We go live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to go to Facebook, it's One Radio Live. Number 1, RADIOLE. And it's the same for YouTube, One Radio Live. So subscribe and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. And visit our website. We have a website as well. Na pag nagla-live, doon din kami. It's www.oneradiolive.com.
Oh, for how long? How long is the show?
Oh, our shows really are from an hour to 2 hours, depending on kung anong type of shows, tita. Pero usually that's, the duration of our shows.
Great, terrific.
Thank you, Bob.
I enjoyed interviewing you today. Mr. Eric Magundayaw, the voice Filipino voice in our Chicago community.
Thank you so much, Tita, for having me.
Voice so deep. Okay, salute to you, Eric. And congratulations and more wishes, best wishes and blessings to all what you do. And thank you. Ciao.
Thanks, CTV. Thank you, CPR.
Enjoy your weekend.
Bye time. Thank you.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV. Ako po si Maria Girly Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today, I am honored and excited to have with us our very well-known international superstar in the world of singing. He is none other than America's Greatest Talent winner of 2019, none other than our very own, I'm so proud to be Filipino because of you, Mr. Marcelito Pomoy, who is in Chicago.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here and thank you sa Cprtv. Thank you so much for interview. It's an honor to makapag-share ng
Oo nga, napakabata pala nitong si Marcelito. Anyway, Marcelito, welcome to Chicago. I'm sure it's not your first time here, is it?
Maybe third.
Third time, okay. Well, I hope the welcome here is as grand or warm as your other times that you were here.
Siguro mga warm lang.
Warm lang. Ngayong gabi hot.
Ngayong gabi hot na to.
Anyway, we are here at the Doubletree Hotel in Skokie.
Yeah.
And your producer is a very good friend of ours,
Jerry.
Jerry Rebello. He's actually #1 producer here.
Yeah.
And
matagal na po siya nagpo-produce sa akin.
Talaga. Napaka-excited nga niya tungkol sa iyo eh. So, anyway, Marcelito, what can we expect tonight? Ano natin?
Syempre kung noon nanalo ko sa Pilipinas Got Talent. Iba yung pinapakita ko na tahimik ko na. Pero ngayon, ewan ko na lang.
Bonggisius. Ganon.
Ipapakita ko na lang siguro mamaya.
Ayun, okay. Lalo ako na-excite. So anyway, tell us something about your personal life. I met your wonderful wife over there. Napakabait po. At she's very accommodating. And of course, your fans are waiting outside. So, ano naman ang masasabi mo na, what changed? How did COVID affect you?
Sobrang laki. Kasi paglabas nung America's Got Talent Champion Edition in 2019, March 15, dapat papayuis na kami kasi nakaplansya na lahat.
Yes.
biglang nag-lockdown.
Shutdown, oo nga eh.
Nag-lockdown.
Ang daming ang affected, no?
2 years ang wala.
Kasi nga, matagal na kitang naririnig. Pero ngayon kita mapapanood ng live. Siyempre, ginugol na kita sa YouTube, ano? And you're amazing.
Thank you.
And in fact, I just heard from one of my nephews, sabi, is he a real person? Because of, you know, how you won and your great talent. And alam mo naman, tayo, Pilipino, very happy to perform. So your personality
Lalong-lalo
shines.
na siyempre international yung pinag-perform.
Diba?
Hindi lang Pilipinas, di ba?
Oo nga.
Kasi kami hindi naman namin akalain na makarating kami dito sa international na makapag-perform sa AGT.
Oo nga. Were you able to perform elsewhere, outside of the United States and the Philippines? Saan ka pa nakapag-perform?
Actually, madami na eh. I have magpa-perform ako ulit. Pagkatapos ng US tour namin, may papunta kami Canada.
Okay.
I have a show in Canada, and then after Canada, Australia.
Okay.
Then after Australia, going back here.
Wow, sa Amerika
US
ulit.
Tour ulit.
Ah, wow. So
Baga,
very
second
busy
leg
kayo.
ngayon, second leg.
Talaga. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Marcelito, ilang taon? How many?
Yung daughter ko panganay is 6. Tapos, merong bago.
wow.
Magsi 7 months.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
Sana US ka naman.
Yun na nga pong inano namin kasi nag-apply na ng green card para na tayo.
That's
Kailangan na
good.
return.
Yeah, para naman mas madalas namin kayo
Oo.
makita. And do you have any message for our viewers?
Sa lahat ng mga fans ko, sa lahat ng mga supporters, mga viewers, thank you so much for supporting me sana po huwag kayo magsawang sumuporta sa akin, and then thank you so much sa lahat ng mga naniniwala sa akin talent.
By the way, you have our very masipag na vlogger dito, si Mr. James DC. So,
Wow,
lalabas
hi,
din
James.
siya sa YouTube,
How are you?
TikTok, lahat.
Really?
Yes, yes. So, anyway, thank you for gracing
Thank you so much.
Chicago Philippine Reports TV. We're practically here before the show opens. So, he's very gracious and his wife is very gracious to allow us this interview para ka lang makita ng fans mo sa Chicago. So, thank you so much,
Thank you so much. Thank you
Marcelito.
so much.
I look forward to a very good show and to know more about you. And taga saan ka ulit sa atin from
Actually,
the south, right?
Mindanao talaga ako.
Mindanao. So,
Yung mga
shout
Bisaya,
out.
shout out sa mga Bisaya.
Sa mga
dyan.
maraming mga Bisaya tonight.
Dito?
Because one of
Wow.
your sponsors, Randy, is from Cebu, I believe.
Mga Bisaya.
So ikaw, Mindanao. Which part of Mindanao?
Surigao.
Surigao. Maganda
Surigao
to.
del Sur.
Alright. So, thank you again. Ako po si Maria Girly Pascual. And this is Marcelito Pomoy saying... Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Over and out. And we're back with the show. I'm Girly Pascual, and here with me right now is the man of the hour, the man who made it possible to bring Marcelito here to Chicago. Please welcome Mr. Jerry Rebello to the show. Jerry!
Thank you.
I
Thank
know,
you, Miss
I am...
Girlie. I love you all, guys.
I know, I'm getting you away from... limpak-limpak na fans and sa labas.
Oo. Ano lang yan? Yan ang sinasabing tadhana o swerte. Dahil sa pakikisama, sa pagmamahal.
No, it's okay.
It's full of love.
Yes.
Enjoy life.
So Jerry, what are the people going to expect tonight?
Oh, this one is a different one kasi talagang full of exciting, full of talagang Marcelito, talagang ibinigay niya lahat. Yung puso niya at talagang talento niya. At ang mga front act kakaiba ang production number. Talagang pinagpagudan, pinaghirapan, at talaga naman napakagagaling.
Oo nga. Alam ko naman, darling, ang iyong quality barometer, hindi pwedeng pangit. And
front act pero
And
pwede
by
nang
the way,
consider
darling,
as
we
a-
were just here kailan lang. And now here you are again. Social.
After Martin,
Yes.
Marcelito. At ang next, merong Nina, merong
Sa'yo rin si
big
Nina?
one. Actually, it's for Eric.
Okay.
Kaya lang tumulong lang ako.
Of course. Pag tumutulong si Tito Jer, syempre,
talagang-
successful.
Yes. Pero abangan nyo ho ang pinakamalaki sa buong Pilipinas na show. Iconic, starring Sharon Cuneta and Regine Velasquez.
Iconic.
Yes, kaya ho, wag na ho kayong mag-expect ng kung ano-ano. Manood na lang ho kayo, pero maloloka ho ako. Pati balakang ko sumasakit.
Ganun.
Oo.
But
Dahil sa
anyway-
tulong ni Tita Joy season.
Hi, Joy. Anyway, Jerry, thank you so much for
Thank you also,
allowing us
Miss
to interview
Girlie.
the
Oo, alam mo
personalities
namang
here.
lahat kayo, especially Tita V and all the staff of Cprtv and Bayan.
Kasi naman, Cprtv ka
Oo,
naman. From the
talaga.
beginning, no?
Yes, product at talagang kayo ang mentor ko.
Thank you so much. So we don't want to take him away from his duties. Again, Girly Pascual, thank you all for watching CPR TV.
And thank you also for coming and enjoy the night.
Thank you, Marcelito Pomoy. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the show. I'm Girly Pascual, and you won't believe who's here with me. But she's performing tonight, and you know what? She's such a good host and a good writer that I'm going to turn over the tables to her. Do your best, Mr.
Yes,
Harrow.
thank you so much for that warm welcome. So tonight we're here at Hotel Skokie Doubletree, and tonight we're going to be enjoying the beautiful voice of Marcelito Pomoy, featuring front acts like me, Christina Season, Jen, don't know her last name, Rain, and then Raisa. So really featuring some of our local talents here in Chicago, as well as the one and only Marcelito Pomoy.
And this is where I cut in. Anyway, Kayla, I was so excited to see you. Kayla grew up right in front of the camera in Chicago Philippine Reports TV. I think you started with us when you were how old?
I want to say
young?
maybe like 13, 14.
Yeah, 13, 14.
Now I'm 20.
And she grew like 6 inches.
Part of it is due to the heels.
Yeah.
You know, yes.
That's only 4 inches on the heels. No, I'm
Yes,
just kidding.
7.
But Kayla, let's talk about some other thing other than your showbiz and singing thing. What are you doing now? What did you take? What school, etc., etc. So,
sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
so the community knows me as a singer here, a young film singer, but I'm 20. I'm getting older, you know, but I am a nursing student at Aurora University. I'm currently a senior and I'm going to graduate in December. So very excited for that.
By the way, I just invited her to host one of our segments. She can focus on young people like us. No, just kidding.
Yes,
like you. And she thinks she's old at 20. What are we? But anyway, Kayla, you look so gorgeous, girl.
Thank you.
And I think you're kind of like not doing anything relationship-wise, right? Am I allowed to ask that?
I hope my parents aren't watching. But the answer is no. You know, I'm 20 years old. I have so many more people to meet.
There you go.
So many experiences to have.
Yes.
So I'm just going to enjoy the single life, I think.
There you go.
Yes.
And by the way, we're looking forward to a great show, directed by Mr. Jerry Rebello, produced by Mr. Jerry Rebello, and we're so excited for Marcelito Pomoy. Are you excited to sing with him? Did you
Very
practice?
excited.
Oh my
Yes.
God, he's an international superstar, which you will be someday, I hope.
I hope.
Or an international nurse, whoever, whatever.
Maybe both.
Or
Yes.
and a AGT personality. You're still young, girl.
Yes, I am.
You might as well. Okay, so Kayla, why don't you do our extra on behalf of CPR TV?
Sure.
I'm Girly Pascual.
And I'm Kayla Tejero.
And we'll see you back here next week. Mwah.
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
Hello, good day, CPR TV viewers. This is Pastor Ed from Faith Family Worship Center, Chicago, and greeting you a joyful and blessed day. Today, I'd like to read to you a very beautiful and powerful psalm, Psalm chapter 1. You know, there are 150 psalms, and the first chapter sets the tone for the rest of all the 150 psalms. Throughout the book of Psalms, you will always encounter the character descriptions between a godly and ungodly person, the righteous and the wicked, and also the proud and the humble. Well, Psalm chapter 1 gives us a descriptive difference between the righteous and the wicked. So I'd like to read to you Psalm 1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. And then here's the description of a godly, righteous, humble person. Verse 3, Psalm chapter 1. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. But not the wicked. They are like worthless chaff, scattered by the wind. They will be condemned at the time of judgment. Sinners will have no place among the godly. For the Lord watches over the path of the godly, but the path of the wicked leads to destruction. See, Psalm chapter 1 contrasts two lives, all right? One dedicated in the pursuit of God's treasure, while the other is devoid of the life of God. The one who seeks God through his words and lives according to his laws is called blessed. And as a person pursues God according to this psalm, this person becomes a source of life, joy, and strength to others. He will be like a tree, this psalm tells us, planted by the rivers of water, and he will live a fulfilled and satisfying life. Not so in verse 4. You see the difference here. Not so for the person opposed to God, declares this psalmist in verse 4, Psalm chapter 1. In other words, no matter what titles or recognitions or achievements we have in life, if we are not living for God and his purposes, life becomes empty and unsatisfying. Or as what King Solomon, the wisest person who ever lived on earth, he said, life, no matter how well off a person can be, without God, life is meaningless. And it's like just chasing after the wind. This powerful psalm ends with a beautiful promise and a serious warning. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction. The Lord will guide the way of those who trust and believe in him. He will be their provider, helper, strength, and contentment. But the way of the wicked, this psalm tells us, leads to destruction, to disappointment, to curses, and to emptiness. You see, my brothers and sisters, the term wicked is not only limited to those who may do violent things, but also to those who do not believe in God and are living for themselves alone. When a person does not believe in God, of course, he will not also believe in his words. And so we all have a choice to make, either to live for God or live for self. Either to believe in God or not to believe in God, either to trust in him or not to trust in him. Our trajectory will be radically altered for good when we decide to live for God and for God alone. God bless you.
Good afternoon. This is Bridget Carino-Quetter bringing you this week's local news from our community. The Office of the Illinois State Fire Marshal, OSFM, announced today the recipients of the 2022 Small Equipment Grant Program. A total of $2.5 million was awarded to 104 fire departments and districts and EMS providers across the state. The program was established to provide grants of up to $26,000 each year for the purchase of small firefighting and ambulance equipment. All communities deserve safety, and this program helps ensure our smaller and rural fire districts aren't left behind when it comes to the tools they need to do their jobs, said Governor J.B. Pritzker. I'm proud to be able to provide more than 100 districts with new life-saving equipment. It's another way we can demonstrate our gratitude for all that they do to help their neighbors live safely. This program is an innovative approach to a problem that has long caused difficulties for fire departments and not-for-profit ambulance services in Illinois, particularly those that have hardships in generating the necessary revenue for small equipment. Secretary of State Jesse White unveiled a new ad campaign featuring Philip Hanks, an organ recipient who received 5 life-saving organs from a single donor. The campaign marks the beginning of National Donate Life Month in April. Philip's story shows how organ and tissue donation saves lives, said Secretary White. Philip was able to be there for the birth of his granddaughter, and he now works as an advocate for my office with the Organ Tissue Donor Program. He reminds us that by registering to become an organ donor, that you too could help change someone's story. Philip needed the transplant because after a liver transplant in 2007, an extra valve in the liver produced scar tissue blocking an important vein, which required the 5-organ transplant known as a multivisceral transplant. In April 2021, Philip received a new liver, small and large intestine, stomach, pancreas, and kidney. Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi announces his support for SB 1975, a bill now pending in the Illinois General Assembly that provides the automatic renewal of the Persons with Disabilities exemption and streamlines benefits for low-income seniors. The bill's chief sponsors are Senator Laura Fine and Representative Michelle Mussman. Our legislators and the advocates with the AARP and Access Living should be commended for this bill, which will ease the burden on some of our most vulnerable residents, said Assessor Kagi. As the office that administers property tax exemption savings for all Cook County taxpayers, I'm proud of this collaboration to reduce the barriers toward lower tax bills. The Illinois Department of Agriculture, IDOA, announced today that it has filed emergency rules prohibiting the sale or exhibiting of poultry and poultry products at swap meets, exhibitions, flea markets, and auction markets in Illinois to prevent the spread of avian influenza. The department's emergency rules take effect immediately and may be effective for up to 150 days. However, after 45 days, the department will reevaluate based on the avian flu status at the time and may repeal the emergency rules at the point. If the situation requires further cancellation, the department will continue to evaluate in 45-day increments for up to 150 days. Protecting animal health in the state of Illinois remains our number one priority, said Dr. Mark Ernst, IDOA state veterinarian. The Illinois Department of Revenue is reminding taxpayers that the upcoming deadline for filing 2021 state individual income tax returns is Monday, April 18th, 2022. We encourage those who have not yet filed to do so soon. Filing electronically with direct deposit will ensure the fastest processing and issuance of any refunds, said IDOR Director David Harris. Taxpayers may file their electronic returns for free by using a registered MyTax Illinois account, but may also file electronically with a tax preparer or third-party software. To aid in IDOR's anti-fraud reports, taxpayers filing their Illinois 1040s through MyTax Illinois must use a registered MyTax Illinois account. If they do not have a registered account, they may create one by choosing Sign Up in the login box at MyTax Illinois and follow the instructions. The ID number will be mailed to them within 10 days of being requested. While IDOR strongly encourages electronic filing, taxpayers can always file a paper return if they choose. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.
In memory of Joe and with the love of his friends and family, we'd like to show you a little bit of Joe's life. Here is Joe Mauricio as seen through the eyes and hearts of friends and family. It's the one thing that really jumps at you when you think of Joe.
Joe, well,
Yeah.
you
What's
know,
something
he
that's
was
vivid
always
in you?
able to talk to anybody. You know, he'd go up, make conversations with anybody, anytime, and always be willing to be friendly. And it's one thing, it's missed.
Joe, what I appreciate most about him is how wonderful he was with my kids. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. So always loving and warm, and compassionate, and I could truly see the love for my kids and my family, and I truly appreciate that. It's missed, very much missed.
And now we have another good friend, Mrs. Elizabeth Cambay Regacho. Elizabeth, you have a memory about Joe.
Yes, he gave me, the silly plants, and I think, the hottest, in which you cannot get it if you're not licensed.
Is that ghost pepper? The hottest?
The hottest pepper.
Well, it changes every year.
So, we kept it in the office, and it's still every year it's growing. It's giving me like leaves and stuff like that. So it does give me a remembrance from Joe.
He also gave you another plant, I remember.
Yeah,
what was
his hands are really green thumb,
Right?
and
He
green
grows
mind.
that from seeds, right? Oh yeah, correct.
Yeah.
From seeds, right? He grows it from seeds. So look at Veronica, she's thriving. I don't know what seed he fed her, but
Because he has a green thumb. Now that he's gone, I don't know.
are his plants alive?
Not growing.
This is what he remembers about Joe. Albert?
Okay, Joe. I remember whenever you shake hand with me, I can feel that intensity.
See, everybody knows that little.
I will miss that, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, I miss you, especially the labuyo harvest. I hope you're busy up there planting labuyo plants. Take care.
Yeah, actually, we're doing an event, and my theme was Labuyo. So I kept thinking about Joe lately because my return labels were also Labuyo, So we miss you, and especially my friend.
When I met him the first time, I think we met on the wrong foot.
Ah, okay.
We did not have a good first impression of each other.
Okay.
But in the end, through things that he has seen me do in the community, eventually we became friends, and we even started to call each other BFF.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know that even if I didn't associate with him that much, we liked each other in the end.
Yes.
And I know that he was very supportive, and he really loved Veronica. He did, yeah.
Yes.
And I was very happy for Veronica that he was always there for her.
1 year death anniversary na ni Tito Joe. But anyway, Tito Joe, I know you're in a good place. And una-una lang, pero doon din kami pupunta. But see you, and I love you. Bye. Thank you.
Well, I'm Christina Nonaro, and I'm one of Tito Joe's really good friend. I really miss him so much, and today is the special day for Tito Joe. Well, he's in heaven, and God bless for Tito Joe in heaven.
Ray?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is in honor of Tito Joe Mauricio, our friend, for almost 20 years. We're here and very excited to celebrate with Tita Veronica and the family of Times Cprtv. May God bless you all, and we're just blessed that we are a friend of Tito Joe.
Tito Joe has always been almost like a father to me. He looks out for me. I may not see him daily, I may not see him often, but enough to be able to say things to me directly.
Well, I've always loved Joe, the way he talks, the way he acts, and even I think the way he discerns things. And I always love an acronym, so I'll just use his name, Joe. Just outstanding and extra in everything. Extra love, extra joy. I mean, he's like a father, just like what Melody had said. A father, a friend, a lover to Veronica, and to all of us.
When you walk through the path all alone, and you end up the strongest one.
That's beautiful. Yeah, you said that earlier, and yeah, I keep thinking about that, and I kind of understand what you mean. It's tough, but show must go on, right?
Yes.
So we're happy
Have to
that
move along.
you're still here, and we're still here, and like I said too, over there at the columbarium, that we're here for you, you know. And your family's here for you. Your friends are here today. We're at
I'm
Ginza.
really very thankful to friends like you, Maria. You've been there, and I'm really very thankful. You and James and everybody else.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that.
And I know Joe is here, has been here all along,
Yeah.
and I could see his smile.
Yeah,
He's
I know we
really
miss his humor. But you'll see some of Joe's friends in a little bit. So thank you, Veronica, for sharing us some of your deep thoughts about Joe.
Girlie,
And
I love you.
and keep on tracking for all of us, right?
Yes.
Long live
Yes.
Veronica! Yay!
Yay!
And that's our show for today. I hope you went down memory aisle with all of us, all of his friends and family. Veronica, you are an inspiration to the community. Please keep on doing what you're doing. Via Times has been around for the longest time, and Joe was certainly proud of you, of the newspaper and Chicago Philippine Reports TV. We miss him behind the camera and in front of the camera, but hopefully Shechi and James De La Cruz will continue the tradition. So on behalf of the staff and producers of the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, ako po si Maria Girlie Pascual. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay, and we'll see you back here next week.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po. And that's our show for this week. Before I leave, I'd like to wish our April celebrants happy birthday. Hope you had a great Sunday, and we'll see you back here next week. Ako po si Maria Girlie Pascual. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagsubaybay. And keep watching Cprtv. Maraming salamat po.
So